That's what it is.
Do the most, but I do a
Mm.
lot. I'ma make a toast if
Excited
we
about
still
tonight.
alive.
Oh,
No
absolutely,
big,
absolutely.
I feel like
Got the
Pac.
man himself
Shoot the
on
shot.
here.
How
Thank you
many?
guys so much for just coming on and listening tonight. Let me make sure I get my camera right because I got the man himself on here tonight. We ain't, from day one. I'm gonna talk about
Coming
that in
in
a
hot.
second. Okay, so listen, this is the Understanding a Man podcast. I want to thank everybody that just took some time to listen in, and of course, you can follow us on Anchor and all of the platforms that exist out there. You can follow under elambking.com as well. Elam B. King on all platforms on YouTube. If you want to go and take a look at the video of what we're doing right now, make sure you go over to YouTube, and you can probably see it on Spotify as well. But this is Elam B. King, and I'm excited tonight. Oh, man. I listen. I got a mentor on the line tonight. I got I got a mentor on the line. Somebody who's a part of what's on my vision board sitting over there, right? Uh, and I had a chance to meet this individual in November of last year. I went to a retreat, and I went to go speak, and I ended up getting spoken to. That's what I like to say. And this individual was one of the first persons that was able to speak that evening. And then afterwards, we just branched off and been staying connected, and a couple of podcasts. And then he wants to go take it to the next level of just walking inside of what his purpose is. And so I'm going to step out of the way and allow him to introduce himself. But I want to tell you guys that I have been impressed from the very first time that I heard this person talk. And I'm not impressed that easily, particularly when it comes to levels of leadership. And so I had a chance to, I'd probably say, in the first 3 to 5 minutes, I was just like, okay, let me get my notes out and pay attention to what he had to say. So I'm going to step out the way for a moment, allow him to introduce himself, and then we're going to kind of rock forward from there. So I want to introduce to some and present to others, running for uh, the the spot in Detroit. And hey, listen, if you are in Detroit, I need you to vote for this person. Okay, I want to fully endorse this individual who's coming on stage right now. So I want to introduce Mr. Marvin Cotton Jr. What's going on, sir?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, my brother Elam King? I'm very,
Hey,
very honored to be here. We always have some great conversations.
right,
I wish we can actually have all of our conversations, even phone conversations, recorded because
right,
we go
right,
down through there.
right.
Y- as you said, my name is Marvin Cotton Jr., and I met Elam King at a retreat where we both were facilitators. We were going to, speak to other men that needed to, work themselves through some things. But what we found was even the facilitators, we were helping each other get work through
Yes,
things that
sir.
we had going on in our lives,
Yes,
and
sir.
just better positioning us to really take advantage of the opportunities in front of us. At that time, the things that I'm doing right now, I didn't think they would come as fast as they have.
Hmm.
As he alluded to, I am running for Michigan State Representative in the 11th House District, which covers a part of Detroit,
Okay.
Harper Woods, the city of Harper Woods, as well as about 80% of the city of St. Clair Shores.
Okay.
So, that retreat was very special in that it may have even helped me get here even faster.
Right.
Um, the things we talked about, I wish we had our all of our conversations
Right.
recorded.
We're
Um,
missing. Yeah, listen, we're missing like Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. Like we're missing. We're missing. It's
Absolutely.
about four or five of us that like we just clicked up that night, and simply because of the energy, and you set that off with your story. And I want to um take a moment And if you can give, because we got to do this. All right. I want to set the stage before we go into a little bit more about you and what you're doing. Right. I want to set the stage of just who you are and what your background is. If you can give us your elevator version, because we can take your story and go for the next like 5 hours. So I want you, if you could take a moment and just give us what your background of where you're from, and I want you to kind of wrap it around with why are you even in this space of running? How dare you based upon your story? That's what I want to say. How dare you do what you're doing right now based upon your story? So talk
A-
to us about what that looks like.
Absolutely. Thank you. I was born and raised in Detroit. I was not only born and raised in Detroit, I was born and raised in the hood, in the streets. And when I was 21 years old, I was falsely arrested and wrongfully convicted of first degree murder and felony firearm.
Mm,
I spent 19 years, 7 months, and 12 days in prison for a crime that I didn't commit.
hmm
And, a lot of people can't fathom that. And I spent 49% of my life in prison. So I spent essentially
mm.
half of my life in prison. I went in at 21 and I got out at 40.
Ooh.
You see?
Uh,
So 22 appeals later, um, eventually the prosecutor office um, developed a unit called the Conviction Integrity Unit. In the
okay.
Conviction Integrity Unit, they reopened my case. They reinvestigated my case from beginning to end, and they took the lead on getting me out of prison. Now, this is almost unheard of.
Yeah.
The prosecutor's office taking the lead on getting somebody out of prison. But this is exactly what happened to me. So I've been out now since October 1st, 2020. So
Right.
I haven't been out a whole 2 years
I
yet.
was about to say, so this we're not even inside. Okay, yeah, yeah, we're not even
Yeah,
inside of 2 years. So
yeah,
how
absolutely.
dare you want to go and get into the community? What?
Well, when I got out, Elam, when you go on 20 years,
Hmm.
that's a lifetime. A lot of stuff has happened. A lot of things have changed. But one of the things that hit me the hardest was when I got out and I seen the condition of the community. When
Okay.
I seen how things were, that time that I planned on taking, getting myself together, I didn't take. I jumped straight into the fight and got involved.
Okay.
I started volunteering my time with different organizations that was, helping the community. Volunteering, lending my voice and my story to
Okay.
see what I can do in order to help and inspire and help people get through what they're going through. I ended up starting my own business called Better Not Broken LLC,
Okay.
which I do motivational speaking as well as
Oh, how
um,
dare you? How dare you? How dare you
and,
do something like that? How dare you?
and community organizing.
Hmm.
I love to give to help organize resources for underserved communities. That's my passion. That's what I do. But when I
Mm.
seen the conditions of the community, the neighborhood, the violence, the lack of men stepping up to help solve the problems,
Right.
I jumped in head first.
Okay.
But one thing that I learned was, I have this amazing story that's not easy to get.
Right.
And a lot of people that's in positions of power, they love taking pictures with me and hearing my
Right.
story. Even some of them have cried with me.
Right.
But when I present to them, this is what we can do to solve this problem or that problem or this
Okay.
problem, they
Okay.
wasn't they wasn't moved to make the move that was necessary.
So
So
go
I
ahead.
got tired of I got to the point where I'm begging and begging to get certain things done.
Okay.
And I'm tired of begging from this side of the table. So I figure I just walk around on the other side of the table and take the seat
Okay.
and get it done myself.
Wait, what'd you say, sir? And see, that was a whole nugget by itself, right? What'd you say? You were tired of what side of the table? Come on,
Yeah,
help me with that.
I'm tired of begging on this side of the
Hmm.
table when I can just walk around on the other side and take a seat and get it done.
Okay, all right. Listen, you sound real good, man, in saying something like that. But here's the thing: I don't know I have a walk that I'm doing with my relationship with God right now, right? And so, I don't know how you navigated through before we even get into what your space is for the community, because people can come on here and say certain things of what they're going to do or whatever, and we're going to get into that. But I don't understand, how are you not bitter? How did you become better in the situation? So let's be very clear. You were wrongfully accused, and you did how long?
19 years, 7 months, 12 days.
I don't care if you said 19 hours, 19 days, 19 months. You said 19 years. And what was that movie when that lady? I think it's called Double Jeopardy. When she knew she didn't kill the guy, and she was like running around or whatever, and somebody was like, like that's pure hate of the reason why she was trying to do her time and get out so she could be revengeful.
Right.
I'm I'm gonna say I would have to evolve through that thought process. Sir,
Right.
I don't understand. How are you coming out of here and not being bitter
You
after
know,
19 years?
a couple of things. Always tell people that the bitter people, the bitter, innocent people, are still in prison
Okay.
because they can't see through their bitterness to even get to the truth.
Okay.
If you can become consumed with bitterness, you can become consumed with anger, you can become consumed with not forgiving, which will prevent you from seeing the things that you need to see in order to free yourself.
Mm,
So I left all of that in prison. I
mm,
dealt with it. I'm not saying that I didn't have to face and deal with things, because I did have to face and deal with things,
okay.
uh, but I actually dealt with it.
Hmm.
And it's still a process, but I have absolutely no anger or bitterness in me. It's impossible to help people with the same hands that is tainted by bitterness and anger.
Mm.
It's impossible, because even when you do your best job,
Ooh.
the fingerprints of that will still be on your work.
Ugh.
And I have a deep desire to help people and to do things and to leave a legacy of positivity. And if I carry that bitterness and anger with me, everything I touch is going to have that on it.
You know what? I don't want to quote him wrong. I was listening to Pastor Mike McClure about a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not going to say it the way that he said it. So I hate that I don't have the exact words, but he basically said, like, when you lead into something with hate, right, or with like bitterness, your end result, like, you're still gonna be bitter if you lead into it with like vengeance and hate or whatever case. I'm not saying it the way that he said it, but the what I gleaned from what he said is that when you lean into it with that, and it sounds like that you didn't do that, I'm going to take a moment and say, like, that's amazing, because I don't know whether I have that level of maturity.
See, see when
And
see
mhm,
when God is working on you, right?
okay,
We usually don't pick our experiences on how God going to take us to the next level.
okay, all
You know,
right, we
we
want
use
to have Bible
we
study. Okay, all right,
listen. We don't usually pick our experiences.
okay,
So you can't say that what you wouldn't do, or you can't imagine it, because when
right.
God gets you in that type of environment and get to working on you,
Mm,
He'll pull the very best out of you. Now I understand when people say that, because it's not natural to go through what I went through.
right,
Being innocent and then being locked away.
right,
Um, um, eh, you know, that's not natural. So you can't even develop a natural pattern of wrapping your mind around it.
right.
But when God puts you in an environment like that and start working on you, not only is He working on you, He's working on your sight of seeing it as well.
Okay, I need to bring the microphone. I need to sit back. Okay, go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So although my experience has been heavy, um, and even torturous, prison is a volatile environment. It's a very violent environment. It's a very unhappy and purposefully set up to be so, as well as set up to be limiting, and all of those things. So I'm not saying that I was skipping through prison. and just happy. I wasn't, but I used that time to work on myself, develop some discipline, learn some things, and now I'm using it.
So that leads me to my next question. So even on top of all that, okay, that sounds good. Okay, so why are you running? Even inside of, I know you had a chance to like collect yourself, and I'm telling you, you are an honors course, and I don't even think I'm college prep where you are right now. Like like I'm a little bit behind that, right? So I would say that, why are you running for office right now? And clarify again, just to make sure that the listeners know, what districts are you running for, and then let us know why you're running.
Well, I'm running for state representative, Michigan state representative in the 11th House District, which is part of the east side of Detroit, Harper Woods, and St. Clair Shores.
Right.
Um, you've been on this planet for a little while, just a
Right.
little while,
Okay.
and you know that there's not a voice like mine anywhere in politics. Nowhere in politics.
Right. I'm going to
Born and
agree with
raised,
that.
born and raised poor, raised by a single mother. Um, Went to prison for something that I didn't do. Got out and living a completely different type of life by being a community organizer, and working with law enforcement at every level, from um, um, top executive offices all the way down to police training on how to help them better interact with the community, as well as how
Right.
to help the community better interact with police officers.
Right.
Somebody that was set up by police officers.
Right. Ooh.
So there's not a voice like mine in politics, um, that can look at life holistically from the different lived experiences that I've been through. I
Right.
think a voice like mine is absolutely necessary
Right.
to be in the room where laws are being crafted and voted on in the name of the people.
Okay. Marvin Cotton, y'all. I need you to look on the ballot for Marvin Cotton Jr. If you are in Detroit, state representative, this man right here, his story is crazy. I guess I have a humble endorsement that I can even just share. If you are a listener or have somebody that you know of that's in Detroit, state representative Marvin Cotton Jr. Story is absolutely crazy. Marvin, I want to go to, because I know that you got to run. I know you like a couple of days before, because voting is when, sir?
August 2nd. Voting
August
is
2nd,
August 2nd, Tuesday.
Tuesday, August 2nd, to vote for Marvin Cotton Jr. Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
And I know you have listeners all over the United States,
right,
and I know that you're based in Atlanta, and I know
right,
Atlanta and Detroit had this relationship to where Atlanta is
right,
like
right, right,
like almost in our backyard. That
right,
that you go to Atlanta, you're gonna see somebody from Detroit. You come to
right.
Detroit, you're gonna see somebody from
That's
Atlanta.
word. That's
So
word.
so, so any of your viewers that know anybody that lives in Detroit or in Harper Woods or in St. Clair Shores, post something, tag them in it. Reach out to them, let them know that I'm running,
Right.
um, and do your research on me. Do your research on me. Everything that we talk about, I'm about that. The things that I say I'm doing, I am actually doing those things.
So, give me the elevator version. I need you to give me the minute and a half version. Why should someone vote for Marvin Cotton Jr. on Tuesday in Detroit for state representative? Why should somebody vote for Marvin Cotton Jr.?
I believe that my lived experience has prepared me for this particular moment. Um, you know, Due to the suffering that I endured, I am super and ultra sensitive to anybody suffering. So whether it's a veteran that's suffering because they're not getting what they need from the government, or people that's dealing with housing issues. You have those that have served their time and they're not able to get housing because they have a felony. They're not able to get a job because they have a felony. I'm very sensitive to people that's suffering, and the government is not doing what it needs to do in order to help them move ahead. It's not up to the government to solve every problem. I
Right.
understand.
Right.
Huge government that's really stepping in the way of things that they shouldn't be in the way of. Um, but problems that are too big for people, individuals to solve, then the government has to step in and put together a system and programs in order to help people get over that hump. Um,
Okay.
so I believe that I'm the best person for the job because I don't want to see anyone suffer. I really want to help people. I believe in care over criminalization. I don't think people should be sent to prison for just every little reason. If we know addiction is a sickness, then there should be more money allocated to deal with those things. We destroyed almost an entire generation of people with the war on drugs,
Okay.
where black and brown and poor whites was sent to prison for crack cocaine, and more affluent people in this country receive less time for soft cocaine, if you will. So I
Hmm.
believe in care over criminalization and programming in the schools, social workers in the school, not the social workers that are paper pushers, but I'm talking about real social workers that's actually helping calm the classroom so that the teachers can do their job. I do a lot of motivational speaking in high schools and middle schools and even juvenile facilities, as well as in colleges and law schools. But when I'm in the high schools and the middle schools and elementary schools,
Okay.
sometimes the classrooms are so disruptive that the
Okay.
teachers can't do their job.
Okay.
We need to bring in the professionals, make sure that there's money there to bring in the professionals to kind of calm the classroom so that the teachers
Okay.
can do their job. We also need more social work and money for it in police departments. Every
Okay.
call doesn't mean that there has to be force or a police intervention.
Okay.
There may be somebody in crisis. We know that throughout this country, we're seeing, people lose their lives when the original call isn't a call that the police should even be responding to.
Mm.
If we had more eyes and boots on the ground when it comes to social workers, a lot of that can be eliminated. We can get the people the real help that they need.
I I got a question, sir, because you know what? If I had to take a moment and say you don't sound like a politician, but you might sound like a politician. So, if I had to ask you this, I don't see the reason why I need to vote because
Mm.
you're not really touching me, or I don't know that you're touching me, right? So why do I need to go vote? I'm registered to vote. I can go vote, but I just don't really. I don't understand the local reasons why y'all all say that I'm gonna do this
Listen,
and I'm.
I know where you're going, and
Come
and,
on,
and
sir.
I run into this daily.
Okay.
People that just don't want to engage in politics, but every time you hit a pothole,
Hmm.
that's politics. Every time your child goes to school, what they learn, how they learn it, the type of teachers they're interacting with, what the teachers get paid,
Okay.
politics. What you spend at the grocery store, politics. What you bring home from work, politics. See, there's decisions being made in state houses throughout the country every
Okay.
day. Laws are
Okay.
being passed, things are being funded every day. Now, it's impossible for anyone to talk about every single issue. So we
Right.
usually focus on the ones that we are passionate about, ones that we are very knowledgeable about. But
Okay.
there's going to be other politicians that introduce bills on the floor,
Okay.
and either I'm gonna vote for it or I'm not. Either I'm gonna challenge it or I'm not. But there's many
Uh-huh.
issues. If you don't engage in politics, it don't mean politics is not going to be a part of your everyday life. You not
Right.
engaging in it just takes your power away from the politics that's being played all around you.
Okay. So bring me home in 30 seconds, sir. Why should Marvin Cotton? Why I see his name on there. I know of him. Story is good. I can kind of like why. am I going to vote for Marvin Cotton Jr. on Tuesday?
I am not a politician. I haven't learned through experience how to get the job done wrong. I don't have a political mother or father. I am new to this arena, but I am not new to life. I know the things that needs to be done. I don't bend. I don't break. I'm ready to work for the people. I'm ready to embody the very voices of the 90,000 people in this district, as well as in the
Mhm.
state that I'm from, and take that to Lansing, Michigan with me, where the capital is at, and fight. I'm ready to take the bumps and the bruises. I'm ready to get some real things done. I'm ready to reach across the aisle and get some things done. People don't elect our officials to just continue to fight and never get anything done while they're suffering with real problems. I'm
Mm.
ready to work with whoever really ready to get some things done for the people.
Come on, sir. Come on, sir. Oh, listen. And I think that this is our first Understanding a Man podcast with a looking inside of the political space, right? And looking inside of just someone looking to make an impact on the, we'll say, the gubernatorial level, right? And I really appreciate, I'm telling you, man, I can't say more than from day one, from the very first 3 to 5 minutes that I met you, you have been 100. And great conversation every time. Every time we talk, we can hit record. every time, every
That's
time, like, we would
that's a
get on the
true
phone, like,
story.
man, that was a great conversation.
That's a
Um,
true story.
and if that is a microcosm of what's going on in your brain and how you're looking to progress forward inside of your community, inside of Detroit, and Marvin Cotton Jr. taking this thing to the streets, and really with the backbone that was built in a manner that many would not be able to handle. If that is an example of the strength that you have to move forward into our community, man, I'm excited you're out there, man.
I
And I
appreciate
want
that.
to thank you ahead of time. I want to be from Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So all my D people, make sure Marvin Cotton Jr., where can they follow you? Where can they see you? Where are you going to be over the next couple of days? What you going to do? Because I know the last couple of days before a campaign, you be out and about doing whatever. As we wrap up, where can they find you?
You can follow me on Facebook, Marvin Cotton Jr. On Facebook, on Instagram, the underscore real underscore FMC. So yeah, THE underscore real REAL underscore FMC. And also Better Not Broken is my Facebook business page. So you can always check me out on that. And where I'll be over the next couple of days, for the last few months,
Yes,
I've been
sir.
out on the streets. I've been knocking doors. I'm in the district talking to the people, trying to talk to all 90,000 of them. And it's very grueling. It's hard on your body, but I love it. It's an initiation. If you really want to carry people's voices, you got to go through the initiation to be able to do so. So you want to find me, come out there and help me talk to the people.
Marvin Cotton Jr., District
11.
11. Okay, I had it. Okay,
Yeah.
District 11. And in between, what are those cities in between?
You have part of the east side of Detroit,
Okay, east
Harper
side of Detroit
Woods,
and Harper
and
Woods
St. Clair Shores.
and St. Clair Shores. Okay,
So
Harper Woods.
if you know anybody on the east side of Detroit, Harper Woods, or St. Clair Shores, reach out to them. Tell them my name. Tell them to do their research. Tell them
Right,
that after they do their research, they'd be more than a voter. I'm sure they'd be a real big supporter.
right. Okay. And if anybody wanted to make any capital donations towards your campaign, is there a Cash App? Is there somewhere where they can, if they wanted to make a donation, what does that look like? Marvin Cotton Jr.
I have an Act Blue account. So they could reach out to me and I'll send them the Act Blue account, which is a encrypted link to where they'll be very protected. Their information will be protected. Democrats use it all over the country, from presidential races all the way down to local races. So it's a very secure way that Democrats raise money.
Say what's the website?
www.cotton for MI state rep. So you have
Okay.
Cotton, COTTON, FORMI, staterep.com.
Okay. And we will make sure that we have that up on here. And here's my thing. Marvin Cotton Jr., thank you for what you do. Um, I dare not ask you another question because we'll go another 30 minutes. So I know you got to run, and you're out here. You're probably about to go knock on doors at 9:47 at night. As you
I try.
know,
I do work. I do work into the evening, but I try not to knock on anybody's doors at almost 10 o'clock.
absolutely.
I want
Thank you
them to
so
vote. I
much.
want them to vote for me, not make a police report.
Man, Marvin, and listen, I got to come out there, dude. We gonna talk offline because you got some projects. You got a book on the way. Okay, we won't talk about that'll be the next after Tuesday.
I'll be back.
After you're elected,
I'll
we're
be
gonna
back.
talk about that. Yeah, we got some other stuff. Thank y'all so much for joining. This is the Understanding a Man podcast. Super excited to be here with guest Mr. Marvin Cotton Jr. If you are in District 11 inside of Detroit, I ask that you just reach out and click the Marvin Cotton
I don't
Jr.
do the
button
most, but
on
I do a
Tuesday
lot.
when you go out to
I'ma
vote.
make a toast, cause we
And
still
if you
alive.
need to dial back to why
Okay,
that's important,
I feel
go
like
back
pop.
about maybe
Shoot a
a couple of
shot.
minutes and you can hear that.
I'm coming
And
in.
Marvin, we're gonna look for the after. We're gonna have a part 2 conversation here after you win District 11.
Absolutely. I'll be back.
All right, man. Talk to you soon, sir.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you,
Coming
brother.
in hot.